Welcome to the Moon Magic Tarot channel. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's readings, we are asking for important information for you about October. We're going to be drawing 3 cards to guide you in. And I can see the third there. And I'm also going to be drawing from the runes as well. Now, your first card, I hope I'm pronouncing this. So this is Mrigashira, and it's associated with the energy, the planet of Mars. Reading number 2, you have Purvashada. This is card number 20, associated with Venus. We also have Jupiter in Sagittarius, but we'll talk more about these different elements in the cards when we get to the readings. And card number 3, you have Ashleisha, associated with Mercury. This is card number 9. Reading 1, you have the rune of flow. Reading number 2, you have the rune of constraint. And reading number 3, you have the rune of separation. Okay, so Super Souls, I'm not going to draw charms. I know I sometimes do, but I think there's a lot of information in these cards that you may want to just tune into in order to kind of see where you are drawn. Some of you may know already. It could be one reading or more. I'll leave the video running and for a few moments, and you can always press the pause button if you need a bit longer, and the timestamps will be in the information box and in the comments for phone users. Tons of love, and see you in the readings. Welcome to reading number 1. You have been drawn into this reading by the card of Mrigashira and the rune of flow. So let's draw some oracle cards for you first of all. And then we will draw some tarot cards and see what we are shown. We are asking to know what reading number 1, what important information reading number 1 need to know for the month of October. Okay, so we have, first of all, Mrigashira. They have the rune of flow. You have Gemini cross-pollinate. You have Descendant invitation. And you have Cancer immerse. You also have Thanatos. Ooh, there is an exchange taking place here. You see this little black, beautiful black, almost like a piece of obsidian, an obsidian, tiny little obsidian crystal ball sitting there. I'm going to place that card down here. And then we also have Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. This is very interesting. And look at this here. These bees are kind of, they're cross-pollinating. And yet they're not quite looking at each other yet. The same with these two. Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. Here she is holding something in her hand, and here we have this little black obsidian crystal ball here in the hands, and this web, really, weaving the web. There's going to be a collaboration for you in October. Reading number 1, without any question, there's going to be some kind of a collaboration. There's something at the moment that you are working on, almost like in a, I want to say a parallel. It's, you know, when two people suddenly come together, someone has been working on one particular project, and then someone comes along and your project is just what they have been looking for. You were the missing link to them, and they were the missing link to you. Something is coming. It will be an invitation. It will be an offering. Something that's going to allow you to... It's going to allow you to continue, but with greater ease. It really is a cross-pollination across... I can't even say cross-generational. That doesn't feel quite right. But you know how like two different career paths really enhance and support each other. You know, it's a bit like, I'm going to come up with a really silly example, but it's here in my mind. So I took my car into the garage to be serviced, and it's a great garage. I use them all the time. It's a local, really lovely little local business. And I needed new tyres, but they don't do the tyres themselves. They have like a sort of a sister company or a brother company or another company where they collaborate and they work together, and they refer to each other, and you get a good deal because they know each other and they're trustworthy. And so there's something of this, you know, one kind of business enhancing another kind of business. One person's knowledge, one person's creativity enhancing another person's creativity. Immerse is really interesting. This feels like it's going to be quite a turning point for you, actually, I think, reading number one. Reading number one, this actually feels like quite a complex reading, actually, already. I can see there an invitation coming into you. There is an opening. It feels really life-changing, like one chapter of your world will close and another will begin. Something's going to be transcended, and you are invited to really immerse yourself in this space of newness. If you've been very much a one-man band in some way, shape or form, collaboration is definitely on the cards. What's really interesting though, the deity Soma, the god Soma, it sort of speaks of eternal youth, romance, walking gently on the earth, and yet being able to also be fully immersed in receiving the amazingness and the benefits of life at the same time. And this is a lovely energy. We have the rune of flow. People flowing into a new chapter, a new way of being. We need more information here, reading number one. You know, what is this important piece? What is the important piece of information that we need to know for reading number one for October? It feels really exciting for you. Something very life-changing happening here. Card two. Let's look at these tarot cards first, and in fact I'm going to draw from a second pack as well. I'm asking for reading number one, information for October please, for reading number one. Okay, let's leave those for one moment and look at these first. Oh, Ace of Wands. Okay, so I'm going to shift the cards around. I hope that we can then see everything. Okay, so your first card you have is the Ace of Wands. Then you have the Three of Swords. You have Temperance. You have the Knight of Wands. This is interesting. Five of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, and then King of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, an invitation is on its way. That is absolutely for sure. If you've been trying to get something off the ground, get it started, get momentum, you've had an idea, you've been working at something, probably quite singularly, you know, almost as if it's been quite hard to get it to quite fit or to quite work out how that's going to align, finding the right partnership, finding the right connections. I think that is about to change, reading number one. I think there is going to be an opening, a window of opening, of opportunity, an invitation Interestingly enough, the curious thing is it feels like it's just going to flow. Five of Pentacles, this is really interesting me, this card here, because you're also needing to keep something under wraps. So this is really important. Okay. The invitation in itself is a really, really good opportunity for you. There's definitely an opening, and you're being invited to immerse yourself in this. And it's going to be very fruitful, very productive. It feels very life-changing. If you've been really trying to find your niche in something, or the right people to work with, the right people to connect to, it feels like it's going to flow very, very easily. It's going to bring to an end some aspect of working perhaps in a more solitary way. However, and it's going to fire you up, there's no doubt about it. The way that you negotiate this is going to be really important, okay? That's what I'm kind of seeing here in the Five of Pentacles. Something needs to be negotiated with care and with thought. I think what it is, actually, Super Souls, is, I think for some of you, maybe not all of you, for some it's just an ongoing progression, a flow into a new space. You've been looking for this, you've been waiting for it, you've been working for it. But for other people, it's not so much what you're stepping into. That's going to feel just right. It's the way you navigate away from where you've come from. It's a bit like if you get offered a promotion and you know you're in that, or somebody headhunts you. That's a good way of describing this. Someone headhunts you and you know that this is just a really good fit for you and you really, really want to do this. But you've kind of got to navigate. There's that period in between, the interim period, when you are navigating away from the way it's been or from the people you currently work with. You've kind of got a time when you've got to wait till all your references go through. You've been headhunted. It feels amazing. It feels like the right thing to do. But at the same time, you're going to let go of something else. Something else is going to be put to one side because of it. So you're stepping away from something whilst at the same time embracing something that is very significantly, potentially very successful for you. You can have, okay, you can, this feels like a card that is saying to you, look, you can embrace the having everything that you might want and still tread lightly on the earth. Look at this, she's juggling up here. Juggling many different things, you know, many arms, many tools, many tasks, but doing it with real grace, doing it with happiness, with joy, with gentleness. Star of Searching, the power to give fulfillment. I think there is an opportunity coming to you, but, and it's not a negative but, you've got to wind yourself out of a situation in order to embrace it fully. Super Souls, look at the light coming in now into this reading. I'm actually going to just put something over the window to adjust the lighting just a little bit so that we can still see the cards clearly. Bear with me for one moment. There we go, reading number one, and I hope you can see all of the cards really, really clearly, and we have room for our next row of tarot cards, which I will put out in just a second. So the important piece of information that's coming to you about October is literally there is going to be an invitation, and it's a very significant one. It's one that will allow you to immerse yourself in a very new way of living. It's leading to fulfillment, it's leading to success. It's something that you have dreamed of and wanted. It's fab. It's the coming together, it's the working together, it's the collaboration, it's a connection. It's going to fire you up. And if you have been questioning whether this was ever going to happen, it will kind of bring that conflict to an end. What is curious about this reading though is there is something that you are leaving behind. I will probably draw more cards around this for you as well, reading number 1. But there's something you're leaving behind in the process of this transition. And you're having to be thoughtful about how you navigate it. I almost feel like, you know, like if you suddenly do really, really, really well and you kind of want to jump for joy and shout and sing about it, but actually if you've got somebody, I don't know, who's, let's say you've got a family member who's not very good with money or something, and you suddenly get that offer of a lifetime, and it's kind of like, it wouldn't really be wise to tell them because they're not going to celebrate you. They're going to kind of be wanting stuff from you all the time. So it's better not to kind of share your success with them. It's better not to reveal, even though you should be able to reveal your success and you should be celebrating your success. But there's something about taking an ownership and immersing yourself in this pathway in a way that allows you to keep your energy intact as well. I'm going to draw more cards, or open the rest of our tarot. We have the Hanged Man. Okay. We have the Knight of Swords. Oh wow. You are leaving something behind here, absolutely. Princess of Wands, Knight of Swords and Knight of Wands. This is really going to, this invitation is going to shift something forwards really significantly for you. We have 3 of Swords again, 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords, yay, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, wow. Okay, this is really so significant that we have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. So we're seeing things move forwards very quickly here. We're seeing both an ending and a completion and a new beginning, a new opportunity here. Very interesting, because even though traditionally the 10 of Wands can be a card which feels like maybe we're a little bit overloaded or a little bit burdened by things, I'm seeing an opportunity for you to be working very, very hard in a way that is very, very productive here. It's like something comes to a head here. Yeah, there is a shift coming for you. There is a shift that means you can work more effectively, more gently, more productively. With success, it's very life-changing here. It's going to liberate you. It's going to allow you to bring some areas of conflict, of difficulty, almost of solitude at times, to an end. And that invitation, we need to draw more cards around this invitation. I think reading number 1, we need to follow through and ask for more information. I can see is very clear. The message is very, very clear in your reading that an invitation and an opening is coming. It's going to make your life easier. It will be very transformational. It's going to lead to greater productivity, to liberation from maybe having to tackle something on your own. But at the same time, you're having to be thoughtful about how you navigate this. Yeah, let's ask more about this opportunity and what it is you're navigating away from. Okay, let's we'll use another tarot pack, I think, to ask about this. So we are asking for reading number 1. First of all, let's ask, what is this opportunity? What opportunity is coming through? What invitation is coming through for reading number 1? Can we please ask about that? In October, what is the opportunity that's presenting itself to reading number 1? Let's look at these cards first. Okay, so we have Page of Wands. We have Page of Cups. Another King of Pentacles. We have 9 of Wands, and we have the Hermit. Okay, right. This is really confirming to me that this invitation is absolutely wholeheartedly connected to some aspect of relationship for you. So whether this is a collaborative relationship in some aspect of your work, whether it is a collaborative aspect of meeting the love of your life or of an existing relationship stepping up where there is help at hand and somehow that relationship really starts to work. But something is shifting and moving forwards. The invitation comes, it's literally like, it is an invitation with an offer of help. An invitation that says you don't have to go it alone. And it makes the, the hurdles that you need to climb over seem much, much smaller, actually. So things that felt like they were quite big are no longer big because you're not doing them on your own. It could be an opening, a collaboration, it could be a business collaboration to have the King of Pentacles twice. You know, it could be that promotion, that being headhunted, some aspect of your work is suddenly taking off, people coming in and saying, look, this is amazing, this is so successful, we want to work with you. It's going to end that sense of aloneness, but you're still going to keep your uniqueness here. This is the really interesting thing here. It's almost as if you have been working at something on your own, you have this niche idea or this niche set of qualities. You know, when you go join a new team, you are still very much you. You know, whatever it is you're working on is still very much yours to create, to produce, to bring forth, to succeed with, except that you're no longer doing it on your own. And this is going to move forwards very quickly, and it is going to be very changing, very life-changing. It's a very big shift. I mean, this is real life-changing stuff. But it's so joyous. It's so loaded with joy, with gentleness, with it's that kind of the connection that comes into your life that allows you to suddenly walk the pathway you were on, but do it bigger and better because you are so supported. You know what I mean? When you're doing something on your own and it just feels like it's kind of like it's quite like an uphill struggle or whatever that is, and suddenly you have someone by your side or a team by your side supporting you, and actually suddenly it all seems so easy. You don't have to do it all anymore. It's like doorways just open, life just flows. Wow, I have to say this, Super Souls, you know I often make reference, but the most beautiful white feather has just floated down in front of my window, literally just one solitary white feather, just gently, and it's quite a breezy day, so it's quite interesting outside that it's gently wafted down and landed. You know, it was not difficult. It hasn't been blown in by the turbulence of the wind, even though it is pretty windy out there. This feather has just gently floated in. It's like, that's what this feels like with this card Mrigashira. It's like something that just, look at all these sort of like almost like sprinkling of stars coming in. You know, this sprinkling of stars, it's like a blessing that just arrives and it makes your life easier. This is the real message about October for you, reading number one. Something is coming in, an invitation to, or an opportunity. I think it does connect to a person or an organization, to other people. I don't think it's just a spiritual connection. I think it's very much a connection to with other human beings, a collaboration, a working together. And people who know what they're doing. It's that sort of scene, you know, when you, yeah, literally like you find that if you've written your book, you find the right agent to work with you, and they just float into your world. It flows with ease, okay? You will know that this is somebody worth working for, or indeed with somebody worth connecting with. And when I say working with, you know, even in intimate partnerships, because this can sometimes signify romance, you know, as can the Page of Cups. You know, sometimes, you know, when you meet someone and you just know that this is a relationship that's going to work. Okay, because you work well together. It's easy to be together. It flows. That's the energy that's around you, whether this is, you know, intimacy or in a relationship that backs you 100% in what you're doing, and suddenly you're a team rather than a one-man band. But that is the energy and the flow that we're seeing here. Definitely the invitation is coming in through a connection to another person. So that's the information we've been given. Now it's going to be quite significantly life-changing. You're going to leave something behind. So let's ask questions about what you're leaving behind, reading number one. May we please make some inquiries. What are reading number one leaving behind or negotiating out of, in a way, in order to move this forwards? Yeah, we'll leave it at that, I think, for the moment. I'm not saying we won't draw more cards. Wow. So we start with the Tower. This is going to be absolutely, this is a life-changing invitation. So this is a major, major opportunity for you guys. It really is, reading number one. This is a major opportunity because it's life-changing. Suddenly, whether it's within your community, whether it's love, this is going to grow. Now, I think it's going to happen quite quickly. That window of opportunity will open like that feather. It's just going to float in and you'll be like, oh, wow, this is amazing. It has the potential to really grow. Okay, it's going to grow in strength, literally go from strength to strength. But it is life-changing, and we are seeing again that you leave something behind. Okay. We have the Magician and we have the Moon. Okay, so what I will say about this, I think one of the biggest shifts that is going to change for you guys is actually an internal shift. I mean, that comes anyway, and we'll draw more cards because I feel like for some of you, you could literally end up moving to a different area, moving house. Maybe this window of opportunity, this person who comes in who says, look, I can collaborate with you, I can work with you, I could help you out on this, you know, whatever it is, it could, I'm seeing a really significant change. I mean, it could literally be, you know, bricks and mortar, moving house. We're seeing moving house, moving jobs. There is an internal shift here, though, that I feel is you're leaving behind something that's caused you real difficulty. I have to draw more cards around this because now it could just be an attitude. I think for some of you, there's a big internal attitude. I think this gives you an opportunity to see some aspect of your inner world where maybe you were previously holding yourself back. You know, maybe there hasn't been trust of someone. Maybe you've been fearful of trusting people or feeling like this would ever work out. But you kind of know because this comes in and it works. It runs so smoothly that it feels like, well, you know, why would you not follow this person? They know what they're doing. They know what they're up to. They're clear about things. This isn't telling me what you're leaving behind, though, reading number one, beyond. Yeah, maybe it's confusion that you're leaving behind. Maybe it's a lack of clarity, a self-doubt. There's definitely an internal shift that comes with this, you know, leaving behind that feeling that you would never be able to manifest this feeling that this would never happen, this feeling that, you know, no matter how hard you work, you'll never find the right person or the right team or the right job. There's definitely a shift here. Maybe the right house, the right vocation, the right person to back you. But I'm curious about what you're leaving behind as well as attitudes, because I do feel we've got some involvement here in being sort of like almost tactful, having to be tactful about the way you exit something, being thoughtful about what you reveal. The moon illuminates, the full moon illuminates. What do you reveal to some people and not to all as you navigate this? We're going to draw some more cards. Reading number 1, I feel we must. Yeah, what are reading number 1? What are they actually navigating away from? It may be unnecessary to know, but it feels like there's something here. You're burning your bridges in some way. What are reading number 1, please, navigating away from? A lot of cards coming through for you, Super Souls. Okay. So we have the Empress. We have the Fool. We have the Six of Wands, card of success. We have the Queen of Swords. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. And Page of Cups. Okay. Okay. Right, this is actually quite clear, really, to me now. Oh, excuse me, please. I've definitely got a little bit of a sore throat. I will have a glass of water in a minute. Super Souls, you are actually, this is a major new beginning, and it's a major place of victory. Right, there's 2 areas that you're shifting from here. One is internal and one is external, and for some of you it's probably a mixture of both. Okay, what you're actually embracing is the opportunity for real true success. You're allowing yourself for the first time ever to take an ownership of your success and safeguard it for yourself. I think some of you have possibly in the past, or probably almost always in the past, and yet for some of you there are still maybe some people around you, maybe connected to family. Maybe you had somebody a little bit narcissistic in your family, or you've had a narcissistic partner or a narcissistic work colleague who would sabotage your opportunities, but you are moving away. You're stepping up into a place of victory, and you know it. Okay? And you know that you actually deserve this. So the internal shift is actually that you genuinely, for the first time, can take an ownership of your right and entitlement to own the success that is going to be coming to you through this collaboration, through this partnership, whether it is love and you're being supported so you're no longer on your own, but you're flying in the face of either the perspectives of somebody who's been around you, somebody who's always just looked out for themselves, or the residue of that, where you've never, ever been able to just look out for you. It's like, you know, if you had achieved anything, you felt like you should just give it all away, you know, or there'll be somebody wanting something and somebody else's needs are always more important than your own. So the shift internally here is that you actually really you're stepping up into a place of genuine victory. You're leaving behind something that has said, look, I can never really have this. It has its origins somewhere. That doesn't matter so much. But for some of you, there also is somebody probably still around you who would willingly jump on the back of your success and really want to ride on the back of your success. And actually, you're kind of taking an ownership of this wholeheartedly for yourself. And rightly so. It's time for you to kind of literally feather your own cap. Take an ownership of who you are, of all the things you have been manifesting. You've worked for this. This is the break that you deserve. And for the first time, I feel like, you know, you get that win, and for the first time you think, do you know what, I'm actually going to invest that in myself, rather than distributing it everywhere. It doesn't mean you won't at a later date distribute it everywhere as well. But that will come later with discernment as your success grows. You've often stretched yourself far too thin on the ground, looking after everybody else. So this is time to reap in the harvest for yourself and use it to fuel your own new beginnings, to have, rather than always thinking of others. This is a time now for you to collaborate and receive, rather than, I think for you, collaboration has often meant giving but not receiving in equal terms. And this is changing, because this is a major opportunity and it's an avenue of success. You know, whether it feels like a A success where someone comes into your life and suddenly you're not on your own, and you're not doing this anymore on your own, and you're not the one that has to do absolutely everything, because you're in a partnership where someone has your back, you know, or whether someone in your world steps up and says, look, I can come and help you do this, or whether it is that promotion, that upgrade, that headhunter of a lifetime, or another business or a colleague or someone coming in who says, look, let's work together. You know, what you're doing is amazing. You're not going to lose your individual niche and the ability for you to be you. Quite the opposite. The big piece of information about October that's coming to you, reading number 1, is that you get to be you in all your splendor and amazingness and success, and you get to be helped with it. You know, that's the really big opportunity, and this is coming in the form of an invitation for you, which is pretty cool and fab. This invitation is coming. It literally is. It's going to be arriving. When it arrives, it will just float in, and just like, wow, just like that feather landing, it will be, oh wow, there it is. Goodness me, how did that just happen? But it did. And yes, you will be saying goodbye to those inner attitudes that in any possible way say that you don't deserve, or that you are not okay in your position. And what is interesting is that actually, I think for some of you, there will be a physical recognition of who to share your success with and who not to, because for some of you, maybe there are still people in your world who would willingly ride on the back of you, take what you offer without necessarily actually kind of putting their fair share back in. That is the really interesting information for you. Super reading number 1. Yeah, this really does feel like an epic turning point for you. Really epic. I mean, you know, Thanatos is very much like the Death card, and we have the Tower card too here, you know, and so much, you know, so much coming in here of success. 2 Kings of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, absolutely stunning shift in fortune, really, in terms of suddenly no longer needing to be the person who does it all, but something coming in a very tangible way, a very real and very tangible way that allows you to embrace, gosh, so much more of life, but easily. Wow, reading number 1, this is absolutely gorgeous. I'm really thrilled for you. I really am. Super Souls, before we wrap up this reading, I need to give you the heads up. I'm just bringing this up. Please, Super Souls, be aware of scammers, and there are loads of people out there impersonating readers at the moment. They download our photos, post in the comments with usually a YouTube name that resembles the actual YouTube channel name, and we have here, I have had big problems over the last week at the time I'm uploading this with somebody, and real difficulty in managing to block them from the channel. That's now taken place, but it took several days. I will never ask you to contact me using a personal email or a phone number or through a number in WhatsApp. If anyone does this and they're using a photograph of any of the tarot readers that you follow, you know, it is a scam, so please report them immediately. None of us operate in that way. None of us contact you directly in that manner. So do please report them, and do please take care, because they ultimately are after money. So, you know, they will try and extract money from you, even if it sounds as though they are being ever so nice. That's just their way of introducing themselves into your world. So just be alert and aware. Reading number 1, you guys, I just think October is going to be an incredible month for you. There is such a major opportunity, invitation. I mean, that's the joy. It's an invitation. Someone's going to be reaching out to you, you know, and you'll be like, wow, whew, just like that feather landing. This feels so easy. This is absolutely amazing, and it will shift your way of being and your way of living, literally, so that life begins to flow with ease. Super Souls, I cannot tell you how excited I am for you. If you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, they should come into your stream. This is a spontaneous reading. I post them all of the time. I also post readings every single Sunday for weekly guidance from Spirit and moon updates and all kinds of stuff. I have loads and loads of things that I put into the world for free. Super Souls, thank you for joining me. Thank you all of you who give back through the super thanks in the comments, and also to all of you who are joining me now on Patreon. I'm doing ongoing tutorials, a monthly tutorial on Patreon for those people who are supporting all of my work there too. So Super Souls, tons and tons and tons of love, and have an amazing October reading number 1. This is a spectacular, life-changing opportunity for you. Welcome to reading number 2, Super Souls. We have got the card of Purvashada, ruled by Venus, and also the rune of constraint. Now this is a really interesting collaboration because this card is so full of joy and exuberance and invincibleness and wowness and oh, it's all happening and nothing can stop you kind of feeling. And yet the rune of constraint actually suggests that there is something around you that you maybe need to attend to, or it's like, don't be so excited and so kind of invincible that you don't attend to the details. The rune of constraint slows us down. It needs us to sometimes stop or not be able to move forwards in order to be able to see something with clarity. So that's a really interesting mix of energies coming through in this sort of combination to start the reading. Let's draw some oracle cards first and see what we are shown for reading number 2. What are reading number 2 being shown? What important information is coming through for them about October? We'll draw oracle cards first, and then we'll dive into the tarot as well. Here's your oracle card. I'm seeing the card just here. Okay, let's have a look and see what we have. Fearless. Do you know, that sort of sums it up. It's just got this energy of invincibleness, of fearlessness, of, what else do we have? The Temple. Wow, I just feel like you guys are going to be flying in October, literally flying high. So what are you needing to be thoughtful of while you're flying high? What else are we shown here? So first house, arrival. We have the card of Moon, perception, and Pluto, rebirth. Wow, reading number 2, this is seriously, seriously interesting for you guys. I mean, the energy here is like really buzzy. It's buzzy, it's whizzy, I just feel like stuff is just happening for you. I mean, maybe things are going to be moving very fast for you to the point where it might feel like your feet aren't touching the ground. Interestingly enough though, in a really good way. I mean, there's a lot of gratitude here. Let's give thanks for this. Feels very, very abundant. I think reading number 2, what we will do is dive straight into some tarot cards as well to find out what information are you being given. I mean, why is everything, I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but because I think I'm thrilled for you. Why is everything flying fast? Why are you arriving, happening, rebirthing fearlessly? It's like, yeah, it's like the wind is in your sails, literally, in October. May we please have more information? May we have more information for reading number 2 about what is happening in October? What do they need to know about? What information is important for reading number 2 to be aware of in October? I'm going to draw a second tarot pack as well. Okay, we'll leave these to one side for a moment, okay, and then we'll come back to them. 6 of Cups is your first card. We then have the 8 of Cups. We have the 3 of Swords, and we have the card of Judgment. Ace of Wands, and the Moon. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to press the pause button and move these cards up so we're going to be able to see everything. Okay, Super Souls, I hope you can see everything here. If any of you have been drawn to reading number 1 as well as reading number 2 here, I would not be surprised. I'm not going to say too much more, but I do feel like this has a feeling of you suddenly motoring, basically. It's like, and with so much gratitude, so much thanks, it's like, yeah, exuberant joy. It's like there is a real sense of celebration here. What your reading is actually saying to you very clearly, reading number 2, is it's not stopping you from that celebration. It's not suggesting you shouldn't have it. It's not suggesting you should not flow forwards. It's not suggesting that you shouldn't be fearless and joyous and feeling like you arrived. But it's what it is actually saying is, look, just, I kind of want to say, slow down and smell the roses, okay? Don't be so caught up in the movement forwards, because something is moving really fast for you in October. I mean, really fast. It's like you get to make you have a level of choice around you that is quite you know, this is going to sound strange, Super Souls, because we always have a level of choice around us. You know, we always have a choice as to how we think or what we feel. You know, we can sit and reflect and shift our own perspectives. But it's kind of like, I feel like you have it's a much higher level, an upgrade of choices in your life in some way, shape or form. And real opportunities, maybe more than one perspective here, more than one opportunity coming in here. In fact, yeah, I would say potentially more than one opportunity. Now, I am slightly connecting to reading number 1 because there was a distinct potential of something happening there, which is why I'm slightly connecting the two. And the leaving something behind. There's some point of life coming to an end as you enter a new space. But it's kind of like this has got the energy of it, of there being, I feel like there's more than one way of approaching your situation. You're going to be literally flying high. The wind is in your sails. You have the energy, the opportunity to move away from something, to shift, to make choices, to make decisions. It's very empowering, this reading. It's like stuff, you see things with a real clarity. You don't have difficulty making choices anymore. If previously you kind of had difficulty in thinking, should I do this or should I do this? I think you'll be just like, right, no, that's what feels right, I'm doing that. You know, I just don't think there's going to be any kind of indecision in you. And I think the rune of constraint in a way is almost saying to you, look, the energy flow around you is so huge and so fast and so vibrant and so amazing, and suddenly you have choices, resources, stuff at your fingertips. Don't rush into things to the point where you're surfing the waves without actually kind of noticing what's going on around you, without paying attention to the detail. It's like, yeah, that sense of feeling invincible to the point where we can miss something important. Okay, perception is everything. There's going to be more than one way of approaching October for you guys. We'll draw more cards. We have more here already. It's going to be one way or the other. You are going to find yourself in a perpetual state of gratitude. We have the temple here. It's beautiful. A perpetual state of gratitude where your energy is high. You're just going to be walking around buzzing and feeling so amazing that it's kind of like doorway after doorway after doorway just opens. You know those days when you're on such a roll and you just know every light will turn to green, and it does. It's that kind of, this is what we're seeing for you guys in October. and you are fearless, you're bold, you're not afraid, you're confident. You know, it's like you know that you've moved through and beyond something to the point where it's no longer affecting you and you feel amazing for it. There's a really big shift here. But, and this is just, you know, your spirit team are kind of saying to you, but just make sure you cross the T's and dot the I's. Let's have a look. So we have Princess of Discs. I mean, yeah, I just feel this is, honestly, this is looking really successful, October, for you. We have 8 of Discs. Wow. I mean, just look at this. 8 of Discs, Ace of Discs, 3 of Discs. Look at the triangle here. It's kind of like all roads lead to Rome. We're talking success, the Death card, and now look at this again. We have the 3 of Wands again. There's more than one way of approaching your situation. Okay. Oh wow, we have the Death and the Tower. This is absolutely phenomenal here in your reading number 2. Really, really big, life-changing celebrations going on here. I mean, the 3s for me are always celebrating. The Aces, of course, are that incredible surge of energy when we get started with something. But there's a real sense of celebration here as well. Something you've really worked for is coming to fruition. There is, though, you are going to, this is, I'm wondering if for some of you there is some kind of a contractual situation going on. I don't want to keep drawing on reading number 1, but I do feel there are some possible connections between the two. Now, if there is a contract or a job offer or something coming your way, cross the T's, dot the I's, pay attention to the details. Okay, this amazing opportunity, this amazing shift for you. That is this is a shift that you make by choice. Any kind of conflict you had previously around your potential for success in something that you really, 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 really want, you're just going to feel like you've arrived, you've landed. And it's going to give you, it's like your confidence is just rocketing, reading number 2. I mean, this is, you know, if confidence is key to success, you are so seriously on a winner. You know, when you just are buzzing with it and it's contagious. I mean, this is you in October. This is magnificent. Just beautiful, beautiful energy of success, of vibrancy, very life-changing stuff. It's like it's changing you from the inside and the outside at the same time. So this is an amazing pivotal moment of shift of opportunity. It rockets your confidence. It rockets your feelings of feeling good about yourself. It shifts your perspectives. You will have some choices around how you approach some things to do. I'll draw some more cards around this in a moment, because there's going to be a lot of activity taking place. You know, this is not a quiet month for you, reading number 2. Not only is there are choices being made here, but these choices are opening up pathways of, you know, something comes to fruition, something comes to a point of judgment. There's definitely, I think, the potential for contracts to be signed if you are moving home, or you are, you know, if you're, you know, you're in a new job, or you're signing some sort of signing of a contract. Something comes to a head and your confidence is just buzzing and flowing. But yeah, pay attention to the detail. There is still some work to be done here. There's still some things that you need to be conscious of as you manifest. Okay, so that's part of what you're being, the information, the important information, aside from saying to you, way to go, let's celebrate. This is the buzziest month ever for reading number 2. You know, just do it, show off, go overboard, be exuberant, be optimistic, you know, but don't be insensitive and don't be unrealistic. Okay, it's this sort of duality here of feeling invincible, feeling so powerful because everything is like going your way, to recognizing that it's terribly important also to be conscious of, yeah, it's the fine print. That's what I want to say to you guys. I think there's some aspect of a contract, or you know, maybe you're about to start a new course, you know, or whatever, but just read the small print, because there are going to be details that will be very helpful for you to see and know and potentially negotiate. Everything here though is feeling like it's on a winner for you, reading number 2. I honestly do. I think you're going to be flying through October in this perpetual state of gratitude. You're just going to be buzzing, okay? And I want to say it's really well deserved. I do still see it's just going to be really busy, because there's going to be a lot to do here. You know, whatever this opportunity, this shift to success, it just feels like this arrival. You know, if you meet, I don't know, if you're single and you're looking for the love of your life, and you meet the love of your life, but actually you're very, very busy at work, you're going to be juggling lots of different aspects of your world. Negotiate how you do that. You don't get stressed. Don't get overloaded. I'm not really seeing any stress or overload. I'm just seeing it buzzing, flowing, moving. But yeah, look at everything from all sides, because there are opportunities here. We're just seeing so much success and celebration, and more than one way to approach this success. Actually, this is joyous, reading number 2. It really, really is. Honestly, I just feel like you're going to be in this space of amazingness. So just make sure, take pause breaks, you know, meditation breaks, just so that you ground yourself, and make sure you read any small print in any contracts. Let's see what else we're shown. What important information does reading number 2 also need to see? Can we ask for more information about this major opportunity here for reading number 2? More information about the opportunity, more information about maybe about the small print. Can we just ask for just more information for the incredible success that is around for reading number 2 in October? Okay. Whew, we start with the Emperor. Wowza. Okay, so here we have, you know, this is a card very much of leadership. Page of Wands. Again, we're seeing this circular motion, everything happening. There's so many spirals, circles, movement happening in your reading number 2. And what do we get? Another Tower. Wow. The Tower. Okay. Seriously big breaks. 21, the World, another circle. I feel like you're going to feel like the world is your oyster. I honestly feel like you guys are going to be walking around on cloud 9. Now this is very interesting. 5 of Swords we have here. And then we have the Wheel. And then we have the Magician again. Okay. Yeah. I think October for you, reading number 2, is going to be incredibly busy. You will be taking charge of your schedule in some way, shape or form. You're going to be active. You're going to be busy. It's going to be happening. As fast as you do one thing, something else will show up that needs doing. But all of it is joyous. All of it is feeling amazing. You're going to be giving gratitude. It will be, wow, that opportunity came through. Wow, that opportunity came through. You check your emails. There's another something that's just amazing. Oh, wow, I can't believe that's happened too. But you do need to respond to these things as well. You know, when we are in a period of massive acceleration, there will be things you need to attend to, things you need to not forget, you know, like when you're on a real roll and then afterwards you think, oh no, I forgot to ask so-and-so how that, you know, how that exam went because I've been so busy, you know, and then you feel really bad about it. Okay, so this is really just saying here, the 5 of Swords, much as the Rune of Constraint is, this is going to be an incredibly busy month for you, reading number 2. I honestly think as a month goes, I don't think your feet are going to touch the ground. And it's all success, and it's big success. It's big life changes, whatever you are manifesting, whatever you've been waiting to happen, the wheels start to turn, the cogs are in motion, it's flowing, it's happening. It's like, you know, you're on the roller coaster ride. But actually, this is a roller coaster ride where you do get to regularly, if you want to, put on the brakes and just press the pause button so that you can just stop and survey the view and check that there isn't anything you've forgotten or you need to attend to along the way, because you are on such a roll that it will be very important for you, because you're really, it's like your life is taking off. Your life is, honestly, this feels so big. Your life is taking off. It's happening. Stuff that you just, yeah, just the pace at which things move. You know, it's the boldness. It's, you might find, because of these different avenues as well, we've got these threes coming in here. And the perception here, you may actually find, again, the fan splaying out, this pyramid shape here, lots of lines coming here. You might actually find, you know, that it's more than one area of your life that comes into fruition all simultaneously. You know, just when you were thinking, well, I'll focus on this particular area of my world at the moment, and then suddenly, not only does that area take off, but so does this area, and this area, and this area, and this area. Oh, and then that happens too. It's got that flavour to it. So because things are moving fast, and we're seeing lots of these waves, these are good waves. Ooh. Move the cards back here. These are beautiful waves, exuberant joy, just do it. The invincible star, the power to invigorate. It's beautiful. It's really, really moving forwards. It's happening. Okay. Really gorgeous energy. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous month for you, reading number 2. But put that anchor down on a regular basis and make sure that you cross the T's and dot the I's. Okay. Because I don't think things are going to be slowing down. You know, the rune of constraint literally sometimes means things are just not happening. I think everything in your reading is saying everything is happening, actually, reading number 2. The key here is to make sure it's not happening so fast that you miss some of those important details. Okay, so that is your very important overview of October, but also this important piece of information to say to you, look, this is just happening, and it's fabulous. Fabulous, but you are going to be so busy in the best possible way that it's really helpful just to make sure you put down anchor and make sure you attend to the details within your busyness. That, I think, reading number 2 really is the gist of your reading. So reading number 2, I need to just bring something up here to show you guys. I need to raise this because we have been scammed several times now, and very heavily in the last week before uploading this particular reading. Please be aware of people who are impersonating tarot readers. This is not just happening here on the Moon Magic Tarot channel, it's happening on lots of the other tarot channels as well. People are downloading photographs of us, pretending to be us, making a YouTube channel name which uses something of Moon Magic in this instance. They are, you know, I just need to say, I will never ask you to contact me using a personal email or a phone number or WhatsApp through the comments. I will never ever do that. If somebody does this and they're using a photograph you know, of me, or this happens to any other readers, please report them immediately. You know, they are ultimately trying to get money from you, and they are scamming and impersonating. So do please be very, very alert. And I'm so sorry I have to raise this, but it's really, really important to do so to make sure that you are protected from these people. So beautiful, reading number 2. Your October is looking incredible, and given the amount of success we're seeing, please be aware of scammers who may be jumping on the back of the world that you are riding through as well, because yeah, pay attention to those details. Yeah, this is an amazing month for you guys. It's just soaring for you. I am thrilled. I'm excited. I just cannot wait to hear about your successes during October, because this is mega. And I do think for several of you it's more than one thing happening at the same time, simultaneously. It's like lots of successes coming to completion. So Super Souls, if you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, if you press the little bell icon as well as subscribing, they should come into your stream. I put tons of free stuff into the world, so I'll put all the relevant links in the information box below for you, that and the comments. At the top comment, I'll pin it, it will be from me. That is where you can find out information about the things that I do. I will never approach you directly. And Super Souls, thank you for giving back through the super thanks. You are absolutely awesome. Those of you who are doing that, well, you're all awesome actually. I'm reading number 2. You are, October for you is awesome. Thank you. Also, I post a monthly tutorial on Patreon for my patrons, so thank you guys. I hope you're enjoying those tutorials. Tons of love for your ongoing support. Super Souls, it is wonderful to be doing this reading for you. I am buzzing in your energy. I am sending you just all the love in the world. Tons and tons of love, and have the most amazing October. Welcome, reading number 3. You've been guided in by the card of Ashlesha. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly, and my apologies if I'm not. And the rune of Othilla, separation. Very struck by the nature of this sort of DNA structure and the shape of Othilla as well. Let's draw first of all from some oracle cards, and we are asking for reading number 3. For information that they need to know about October, the month of October. What is happening in October for reading number 3, and what important information do they need to be aware of? That's our card. Okay. One more oracle card, and then we'll draw tarot cards shortly. Ooh, okay. Princess of Purity leaps across. Okay, right. Let's leave that there for one moment and look at the others. We have Kairos. Oh, wow. Okay. What are you going to see clearly? Something is going to become very apparent to you, reading number 3, during October. I think it may be something that you already know, but it will become apparent, it will become clear. And knowledge is power. That's what I want to say with this card already. Knowledge is power, reading number 3. Confrontation, opposition. Is your first card here. Phalas, Athena, think. This is very interesting because this card is ruled by Mercury, which is about thinking. Very, very interesting. It's about thought, and how thought sometimes can be, if it's too harsh, it can override the heart. But you're being asked to think. Confrontation, think, and Ceres, nurture. But we have a scythe in the middle here. This is cutting away the old in some way, shape or form. I mean, in a way, this is showing a harvest. We're seeing bounty here. Princess of Purity leaps across. I think that October, for you, reading number 3, I think you're going to transform something. You're going to come through something and out the other side. And knowledge is going to be your power. You're going to see something very, very, very clearly. Something that has been causing you a lot of conflict, I think. A lot of conflict. I actually also think you're going to be in a very powerful position. Now we're going to draw a lot more cards around this, reading number 3. But, excuse me, I do actually feel that if there has been a conflict in your life, something that's been really, that you have been having to overthink. You know, when stuff you just go, it goes round and round and round and round in your head, and you just think, ugh, you know, will I ever be able to put this down? Almost like it feels like it's caught up in your DNA, just going round and round and round in circles. And you just know. It's sort of almost like your thinking around it is disempowering. I think you have been feeling like you were going nowhere, like you would never be able to overcome this. You'd never be able to sort it out. Something has been really bothering you. And in a way, because it has been bothering you and lingering, it's like it's been clinging. And I think it's tied you in knots, actually, a little bit. Let's draw from several tarot packs and see what other information we're being given about this situation for reading number 3. I want to say, reading number 3, I think you are in a more powerful position with this than you realise, okay? I think you probably know the circumstance. I don't feel like it's something new, which is really interesting. It's something that's almost been, I think it's why we've got the genetic aspect and the rune of Othilla, separation. And this is a rune of inheritance. So there's this feeling of it being in your DNA. It's like something, it could be a family situation or an attitude or something that has been really giving you a hard time, giving you difficulty. It's causing you an inner conflict. Even though it may be with something external to you, it's causing you to think excessively about it internally as well. I think something is going to change during October that allows you to leap across this kind of void that has been, it's almost like, you know, when you just want rid of something, you don't want to think that way anymore, you don't want to be doing it that way anymore, you're just sick and tired of it, and suddenly what seemed like a cavernous something that you thought you'd never be able to cross, suddenly you just cross it. Something's going to change. We have the scythe here. Something's going to come to a point of completion, of harvest. May we please have some more cards for reading number 3 as well, about this situation and how it will emerge and unfold. I'm going to put those to one side just for one moment. Let's have a look at these first. So we have the Hierophant here. Wow, so we have the Hierophant and the High Priestess. What I need to say to you about this situation, look at the major cards we have. Hierophant, High Priestess, the Moon. We have the Hanged Man. All major cards. Then we have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the 8 of Cups. Okay. Right, let me shift the camera so that we can, or shift the cards around so that we'll be able to see everything here for you. Okay, reading number 3. I hope you can see everything now. So, think, nurture. Something has been concerning you guys. It's very, very clear that it has been, it may well connect to family, but there is something that has been tangling your mind in knots. It's almost like maybe somebody who is, I want to say, willfully confrontational, but not necessarily always in an upfront way. But one way or the other, I think sometimes they wear a bit of a mask, a bit of a shield, they hide behind something, but and they cause damage, actually. That's what I'm seeing. And you kind of know they do. You're fully aware of the situation, and it kind of plagues you because you really, really dislike it. It doesn't work for you. It causes you great unhappiness. I can really see that. It feels as though they entwine and entangle other people into the circumstances, the situations. And what it does, which I think is the thing that perhaps you most dislike above and beyond anything, Super Souls, is the fact that it ties you in knots. The whole circumstances, the whole situation is keeping you tangled, feeling like you can't break out, you don't quite know what to do, whether you are just procrastinating or you're clinging to the way something is, or you just cannot see a way forwards. I do think for some of you there is something that feels genuinely directly confrontational, but it's almost as if it sort of is confrontational, and yet it's not direct enough for you to be able to take action directly, but it causes you a problem. In essence, that's what I feel we're being shown here. Now, I think in October, and this is the really important piece of information being brought through for you, I think in October, I think you're given something. I think you're given a piece of information. Something comes to light. And you're able to act with kind of, it's like impeccable and divine timing. Now, interestingly enough, you're going to leap over something, as it were. Literally, you're going to overcome something, and I think possibly even cut some cords. Actually, you know, we've got new beginnings here. Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. So I mean, in very real terms, both in mind and in matter, there is divine timing here that will allow you, something will happen in October, and we will draw more cards around this. We have more yet here to look at, reading number 3. But something is going to happen that will allow you to step over and beyond this something of confrontation that has tangled you. And you will consciously make a choice as to how to, I want to say, to leave it behind, actually. Even if it still goes on, it will no longer bother you. Right? There's something about you being able to navigate something that regains some aspect of your personal empowerment, whether it is actually choosing not to be tangled by somebody anymore, seeing a piece of information that allows you to view something differently. But it does feel like there's divine timing here to have the Hierophant and the High Priestess. But I feel someone's going to come in and give you some information. They'll give you something. Could be a letter, a communication, piece of divine timing, signs, signals, synchronicities, but someone's going to give you something that will allow you to close a door, actually, on whatever it is that's been tying you up in knots. And it's going to feel quite a relief, is what I want to say, actually. You know, it's almost as though, I think that there'll be an element of sadness about it, you know, because it's sad if something, you know, it's sad that this has gone on, but it's actually gone on and on and on for too long. It's like something just keeps, you know, when something randomly even pops up in your head and you think, oh man, why am I going over that again? You know, for some of you, it is actually very present. It's very current. But actually, yeah, I think somebody will give you some information that will allow you to see the situation with clarity and therefore act with really divine, perfect timing. That timing may even tie in with the moon, whether at some aspect during October, whether it's a new moon or a full moon or a quarter moon, but some aspect of a moon cycle. But one way or the other, the information you need will come to you. So whatever this is that's causing you to feel like you're going around in circles, you're locked in battle, whether it's an internal battle where you just can't see or work out how you're going to act within this. Because I think not only do you feel you're not seeing the whole picture, it's like at the moment I feel like you don't quite feel as though you have all of the information. You're not being given all of the information you need to make a clear-cut choice. And in a way, not only is it potentially being masked from you, because I think you know that there are other people who have that information, but you don't yet have it, or that they're talking and saying things that you don't know about. There's other stuff going on. But I also feel that So in a way, you're feeling as though you have to be guarded in the way that you approach this. It's not okay for you to be really direct and honest either. You're having to be quite guarded about this too. I just want to show you this. We have this sort of meteor here. Can you see, surrounded by this light? And then we have this beautiful eye here, Kairos, which is all about timing. And you know, it's as if this meteor is about to come in and land in some way, shape or form. You know, what's interesting here, you know, in a way, I want to say a confrontation comes to a head, but I don't think it comes to a head in a way that is actually confrontational, which is really interesting. And I'm thrilled about that for you. I think the confrontation is behind the scenes. It's internal. It's like not knowing, how the hell do I approach this? This person, I've tried talking to them, they're never open to talking. I talk to this person, I never feel like I have all the information I need to make the right choices. You know, there's those sort of gut feeling moments. There's something not quite right. This then tangles you in yourself, and it uses a lot of energy. Now, actually, something is going to shift here, a bit like the meteor landing. You know, something's going to come, and the light bulb will turn on. A piece of information will come to you. Something will become very clear and very obvious. Something that you have really thought, gut feeling, there's something more to this. Or I wish I had all the information. Something that's tied you up a little bit in knots is going to change. The interesting thing is, reading number 3, I think it puts you in quite a powerful position, actually. So there's a lot to be gained here. You know, for you, separation, the rune of Othilla, separation, is interesting because it's a rune of gain, ultimately. It's a rune of loss, of separation, of letting go. It's like a snake shedding its skin. You outgrow something. So something that used to be appropriate for you is not appropriate for you to do or to hold on to anymore. And I feel this is something that's tangled you up, and it's really been quite debilitating. With the information you have, when it comes, and I do think it's coming, it will put you in a very, very strong position. And part of the information that's being given here is to say to you, look, please think about how you respond, because you now have an opportunity to leap across something, to leap across the void. Princess of Purity leaps across. I think you hold it's like you hold the cards, because you now have all the information. And so you are being advised to think carefully about how you navigate with this information. What do you want to do with it? What would be your ultimate outcome, your desired outcome? Because knowledge is power. You could cause difficulty and problems for somebody who's not been behaving terribly well, or you could navigate your way across this, you know, with thought and care. That there's something about shifting from feeling quite disempowered to being in a place where you actually feel quite empowered. And now it's kind of, you know, how are you going to handle that? Let's just have a look at the cards that we have here as well. So our first card, Knight of Swords, sitting under the Hierophant. I think you get to really cut to the chase here. The Three of Discs, sitting under the High Priestess. What I'm being shown here is whatever this information is, whatever the circumstances are, it's suddenly like, wow, my gut feeling was completely right all along. I was absolutely right about this. You really get some validation here. Queen of Cups, Queen of Discs and Queen of Cups. So we have two cards here of, I almost want to say, self-satisfaction. Okay. And I don't necessarily mean self-satisfaction in a majorly ego way, though there may be an element of that coming in, because you know when something is, you know when you just know, and somebody comes along and something happens and it's like, yeah, I told you so, I knew that, you know, it's like there's that confirmation. Four of Wands. you're going to be, you are going to receive significant validation, whether it's personal validation or whether it's validation that's kind of seen by others. It will be very, very, very clear. Do you know, for some of you as well, I think you have already distanced yourself. Part of the tangle here is that you've actually already distanced yourself from a situation because you knew it was just like taking you around in circles, and it still does. It's one of those things, you know, when there's something that you couldn't fix it and you couldn't sort it out, and you go round and round in your mind, you put it down for a while and then up it pops again because you never got the resolution. Your perspective was never validated. You know, maybe it was denied, it was swept under the carpet. Well, you get the validation here. So I think there is some element of that kind of, do you know what, I was right. And there is a sense of self-satisfaction when it's kind of when we were proved that we were right, and we're seen to be proved that we were right. It does bring something to a significant close. Okay. And I think that is a good thing here. I'm seeing a good thing because it brings it to a close. You can see the conflict, the confrontation, the differences of opinion that were being created previously, you know, by this conflict, by this difficulty, by somebody not giving the whole information, or saying one thing to one person and one thing to another. Any of those scenarios apply. It's a general reading, but this is, you know, it gets seen for what it is with great clarity in October. This is what we are seeing, and the outcome is that, you know, the world shifts, and I am seeing a kind of a victory for you guys. I really am. It's like the burdens of the past, the stuff that you felt were really hard work, are going to then be left behind you. There's opportunity for new beginnings, really, in a way. And when I say new beginnings, I mean success. Possibly even if there was some legal thing going on for some of you, it could be that it results in compensation of some sort. But I'm seeing success, and however we look at it, it's renewed energy, renewed vigor, renewed direction, renewed creativity, freedom in your mind, because instead of your mind being tangled with this stuff and feeling weighted by it, you're liberated from it, because it's now seen, proven, sorted. It can be closed, and the conflict that was being caused and the difficulty that you were never able to address is now out in the open. You're validated, you're sorted, you know, and now you can finally leave it behind you once and for all. You know, it is a really good thing that it is now seen and brought into the open. And the timing of this, it feels very karmic. Actually, I want to say it feels very, very karmic, and it will put you in quite a powerful position, because knowledge is power, and you know, how you use that is up to you. But ultimately, the most important thing that you gain from what I can see here, reading 3, is that you gain the freedom, the clarity of mind, the shedding of the skin, that you develop your new form. It's really interesting in this card here, because I've spoken about a snake shedding its skin. You know, we have, you know, Kundalini energy here. This card is also represented by the serpent, and also by it's by the Nagas, I think is how you pronounce it, but they're like half man, half human, half snake, you know, and they are a very powerful race of people, you know, living in the underworld. So very powerful, very successful, actually, holding a lot of secrets, holding a lot of energy, holding a lot of transformational energy. You know, transformational energy can be very empowering. It can also, you know, we must never misuse that power. So this is a time when I think your power rises, but it rises as much as anything because I think you're going to be freed of something that has previously just not felt like you could ever resolve it. I'm feeling really grateful for you is the right word, reading number 3. I'm feeling grateful that this is finally getting sorted on some level, because having stuff that's been going on and causing you to go over and over stuff is not helpful, and it's not healthy. So let us ask, please, for more information for reading number 3 about actually, may we see what the outcome of this is going to be, what happens for reading number 3. Can we be given more information? So reading 3, let's have a look. Okay, super nice. So first of all, you have the pigs might fly, the Page of Cups. This just really does mean that, you know, you didn't think this, the outcome of this. I did say if there's any kind of legality or just people being brought to the stuff being brought to the surface, and you're going to be celebrating here. It means you can let it go once and for all. This is a better outcome than you could possibly have dreamed of. Okay, it really is, and it clears your mind. Yeah. Look at the spiral of your mind. Instead of spiraling inwards, tangled in conflict, your mind is now free to be focused on building a new future. 3 of Swords, very interesting, because I think it's like, I need to say, whoever this was, this situation, they really did hurt you. You know, what was being done, what was being said, the lack of information that was given to you, it had a massive emotional impact on you. It really, really did. 8 of Wands, it's like your energy comes back to you. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands here. You regain your focus. You regain your focus both in your mind and also in your kind of your imagination, your overall energy, your creativity. Whereas your mind used to run around in circles, and a lot of your energy was used in being tangled in trying to find solutions that you couldn't really find a way through, because, you know, whoever and whatever this was, they were not open to that. This is your energy and your vitality and your direction become clear. And here we have the 6 of Wands again. Look, Knight of Swords, super nice. Knight of Swords. This is going to sort itself out pretty quickly. Okay, it really, really is. Once this information comes to light, once the ball gets rolling here, it's going to move pretty fast, and really you are going to be seen that success is literally, you are going to be validated. It's not just that, you know, I told you so, I knew it. It's like, actually it will be seen, and I think that's really important as part of your validation. The Judgment card, absolutely. This is going to come to a head. We are going to see the consequences of the circumstance. It's something will come to light. Interestingly enough, 3 of Cups is a lovely card here, because, you know, what you have here, you've got the 3 of Discs here, you've got the 3 of Cups. I actually think that there will be maybe some people who had not supported you. Maybe there was a disagreement, or, you know, the conflict, whatever the conflict was. Maybe there was a disagreement or a different way of, you know, as I said, something was going on that was not clear or behind your back. Actually, the people who previously maybe sat on the fence or didn't quite didn't want to take sides, they sat on the fence, or they even knew what was going on but kind of just went along with it, swept it under the carpet, because just for anything, for an easy life. I think that they actually come back and kind of honour your position here. I think there is a validation that says, do you know what, we're really sorry, we should have actually stood by you. You know, that this Judgment Day is coming. Something, I think, you know, yeah, there is something that has bothered you, pissed you off, tied you in knots, caused you to lose energy, whether that's mental energy, physical energy, emotional energy, you know, just energy drain, is going to come to a head. you will gain some information, or something will be brought to light in a very powerful way. There is divine timing involved, and this is going to shift everything. There will be a resolution that will allow you to feel really, really good about yourself. And also, I'm going to say, the position you held in this. So really big honour to you right now, because what I'm also seeing here, reading number 3, is that you did actually take the high road. You know, you actually didn't know how to handle this, but you didn't retaliate. You didn't stir it up more. You didn't dive in and run along with it. You didn't go along with something that was not okay, even though it caused you pain and heartache. And you knew that stuff that was going on was also designed to cause pain and heartache. You took the higher ground. And that is now going to be seen. It's like you held your own integrity, and that is going to be seen, known, understood, validated, and in a very, very, very public and visible manner, actually. Your position will be validated and exonerated, or whatever that would be. I think that might be the right word. It means that once and for all, you let go of this. And you have so many choices in terms of how you now move forwards here. This is a super lovely reading number 3 for October. This has clearly been going on. Potentially, it's been around you. For some of you, it's gone on for years and years and years and years. It may, for some, it will go way, way back. And for some, it's more relatively recent. For some, it's very much around you still. But this is the point in October when information comes to light that allows you to let go of it once and for all. And you don't just let go of it because you have sorted it out privately on your own. You let go of it because something comes to light and it's absolutely seen for what it is. So this is really, really, really super. And it feels like proper, sort of almost like this is the divine timing, like there's a karmic kind of justice. You've always known, even if a part of you got tangled, that, you know, and sometimes we do, don't we? If people don't behave well, you just want to retaliate, and you have to try and hold back and not retaliate, because that's not the right thing, to pour more difficulty into the world. But do you know, it's really hard sometimes to take the higher ground when people are behaving badly. But you did it, and you've been amazing, absolutely amazing. And your amazingness is now about to be validated, seen, recognised, which is pretty jubilant, really. I mean, it really, really is. And once and for all, you get to move beyond this. It restores your energy and your own integrity, because you don't have to keep going over and over it anymore, which is just super, super nice. Beautiful reading number 3. I need to bring something up that I need to just show you. Very important, thinking of things that are not retaliating. Please be aware of scammers. I need to just voice this before we finish up our reading, because we've had trouble with this beautiful channel here. Several people have been, well, tons of people have been asked to contact them by somebody claiming to be me. Please know, I will never ask you to contact me. I will never give you a personal email or a phone number or a WhatsApp number. I will never respond to you in that way in the comments. And if someone does this with a photograph of me and they're claiming to be me, please report them immediately. I will never contact you in that way. This has happened quite a few times now, and lots of tarot readers are finding this problem, and astrologers too. So do please make sure that you if you see this, if you're approached by anybody, just report them. It will not be me, super souls, so please be conscious of this. It's quite funny, actually. It made me think about the not retaliating and taking the higher ground, because actually it can really wind you up when you kind of, you know, there's 100 comments by somebody that isn't you responding to all the people that you care about in your beautiful community. You know, it's really, you know, these things can really, really wind you up, and it's very, very hard to hold the higher ground and work out how to navigate it thoughtfully. But anyway, that's another story. I just need to bring that up. Super souls, if you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, they will come into your stream. This is a spontaneous reading. I post loads of these. They all go into my Timeless Readings playlist, where the readings answer very specific questions. I also post readings every Sunday with guidance for right here and right now and for the week ahead. Amazing reading number 3. I feel this is such an important validation for you in October. I really, really do. So thank you for joining me, and it's an honour to be connecting with you, because you've really held the line of integrity, and I can really see that. And this is the point of comeback in the most positive and amazing way for you. Super Souls, thank you so much. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments. Thank you to those of you who give back through the super thanks, and thank you all of you on Patreon who support my work ongoing. I hope you're enjoying the tutorials. I post a monthly tutorial about learning to read tarot cards and runes on my Patreon site for those people who make ongoing contributions to the channel and to all the work that I do. Super Souls, thank you all so much. Tons and tons of love. And reading number 3, have a seriously amazing October.